Is it working now?
Yeah, it says so.
Okay. Are you good to start?
Yes. Um, well, just make your argument because you already know our proposition.
Yeah, okay. So basically, Luck consistently has the best century in the series, especially carrying skilling. Oh, sorry. Luck consistently has the best centuries in the series, especially carrying spelling above characters in the Black Bulls. And two characters with unnotable sensory are able to sense over different space times, which is low multisensory. That is Henry being able to sense the remnants in Glamour World, and Lumiere being able to sense Dagger, Mana, and Shadow Palace. Luck would obviously scale above these two in terms of sensory, giving him low multisensory range. And since he perceived Glamour World as still being infinite and having no border, despite having low multisensory, Glamour would be multiversal plus in size. I can explain why infinite in comparison to low multi is multiversal plus if you want. But do you have any contentions?
So you're saying that this,
And Yami could destroy fucking Glamour World. Sorry,
yeah,
forgot to mention that.
we'll get to that in a minute. So for me to understand your argument, you're saying that because X characters is able to sense the Shadow Palace, which is a subspace or subdimension that they're able to sense like bare minimum low multiversal
Distances,
distances.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, why would that be the case?
Why would it be the case that there's low multiversal distances?
Yeah.
Because they'd be sensing over different space times to sense inside these different space times.
Can you prove that the Shadow Palace is a separate space-time that's of a universal size?
It doesn't need to be of a universal size for that to be the case.
Well, it kind of does, because that's the whole point of it being low multiversal. Like multiversal is a finite number of finite size universes. Like it ranges between 2 to 1,000
Yeah, I'm
within
not
one
arguing they
very
have
large.
not specifically arguing here that they have low multiversal attack potency. I'm arguing they have
Yeah, yeah,
low
I know that,
multiversal
but I'm
sensory range.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
but
finish explaining. Let me finish explaining. All right.
yeah,
So
continue.
since they can sense into different space times, which are spatially disconnected, they would have to have low multisensory range. That's the point.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to prove that the Shadow Palace is a separate space-time of a universal size. Because if it's like
I just
as
explained
the
how it doesn't
size
have
of
to be
a
universal
planet,
size, but I also have Henry sensing the black bulls in Glamour World, so that's also
but
irrelevant.
wait, yeah, we'll get to that point after this one because from what I'm hearing, you're presupposing that the Shadow Palace is a space-time continuum, which I'm just asking for evidence for you to prove that claim or presupposition.
I mean, yes, I am presupposing that, but it's not really necessary for my argument since I also have the Glamour World example.
Okay, so if you cannot prove that it's a space-time and you already agree that you're presupposing it's a space-time, then I can dismiss this argument and go into the Glamour World one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, cool. So
I
can you
said I
please
can grant
repeat?
you that it's not a space time. That's the point because I have the other example
Yeah, can you repeat your Glamour World point again?
about how Glamour World would be a universe or infinite size.
Like the beginning part, because you used the Shadow Palace as like supplementary evidence for
Yeah,
the first point, which had to do with sensing across um, Glamour World or some shit like that. Uh, Can you
Well,
just repeat that third point?
Henry, you want me to send the scan for it or what?
Uh, yeah, yes, please.
Henry's
No,
sensing the remnants that exist in Glamour World from the living universe. Here, let me send the scan over. What channel do you want me to send it
uh, there's a scans channel. Um, where yeah, general scans.
Let me
I'll
find that. Okay,
tag.
I'll send it there.
Yeah, I'll tag you real quick.
Here, let me. Here's the scan.
Okay, let's see. So all he says is that he can sense the magic of the vanished pieces, but they don't exist anywhere.
Yeah,
Why
he's
does
saying
that
he doesn't sense them in the. He's saying they don't exist in the living world, but he can still sense them. They exist in Glamour World.
like he can sense the magic of the vanished pieces, which we can see like vanished pieces of like his construct like slowly disappearing. Like the leftovers of like Dorothy's magic you can like literally see on I don't know what you call it, a mecha, I guess, the Black Bull's mecha or whatever.
Yeah,
But what does that mean that he's able to sense that their magic is in a different space-time continuum or whatever? Like, what's the implication of that?
I mean, I
He
don't
just
really get your
he,
point. He's sensing the magic of the pieces that are existing within Glamour World. He literally says they don't exist anywhere in the living universe. Well, he doesn't say exactly living universe, but we know it has to be in this context. Hello?
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that doesn't really support that. He's able to sense um like them being in Glamour World. For all we know, he can't sense them anywhere within his radius of sensing capabilities. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's able to sense
Yeah,
them.
and he's talking about
Uh,
the pieces that were transported into Glamour World. If he was talking about the pieces that were around him, he would still be able to sense them. He's not talking about something like way far
yeah,
away.
but
He's talking about
he's
in
just
something in Glamour World, which is a different space time.
but he's just saying that they vanished. The magic of the vanished pieces, but they don't exist anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't necessarily prove that he's sensing them
How does it not prove that?
because he's just saying that he senses the magic that vanished. Well, the magic of the vanished pieces, which
Yeah,
we
the
can
vanished
literally
pieces that are in Glamour World. He's talking about the pieces that were transported into Glamour World. What else could he be talking about?
I thought you were saying that he was able to sense them, as in like Vanessa, Magna, Luck, etc.
All this said here is he's able to sense like all this shown here is he's able to sense the remnants that exist in Glamour World that got transported into Glamour World. Like it could be that he could also sense the black bulls, but that isn't like directly stated. It's also not
Yeah,
contradictory.
yeah, yeah. That's what I thought you were referring to, which is
Yeah,
why I
and
was
I'm not
confused.
saying he's sensing the black bullets because that's not what's stated.
Ah, yeah. So you're saying that he's able to sense the pieces of the construct that he made in Glamour World.
Yes.
I see. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's quite blatantly stated. Yeah, I can agree with that.
All
Um,
right. So, you have any other contentions?
uh, so so yeah, he's able to sense the he's able to sense the pieces in Glamour World.
Yes.
So can you explain to me why Glamour World is a space time, a
Yes. Let me
separate
see if I can
space
find the
time?
scan for that real quick. So here's her saying it is a space isolated from the outside world that does exactly what she wants. Let me find it. Yeah.
Let me go to this scan.
And here is it affirmed to be infinite.
Okay, so let's get on to the uh first point, which
All right.
is you trying to prove that it's a space time, a separate space time continuum. Um, this scan doesn't necessarily prove that it's a separate space time
It
continuum,
proves it
but
is separated
it
spatially, which also entails the multi-sensory range. I mean, I can prove why it's a
wait, wait,
space-time
wait,
continuum if
wait,
you want.
wait, say that again.
I said it proves that it's separated spatially, which still entails the same thing. I can also prove why it's a space-time continuum if you want.
Um, before I say anything further against that, can you present further evidence as to why that's the case?
Or what specifically?
For why um a separate space still means a separate space time or some shit like that.
Sure, give me 2 seconds. So I have to do something real quick. If something is separated spatially, then you'd have to be sensing over the space-time to be able to sense into it outside of the space-time continuum.
So is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I thought you were gonna show more scans. Um, no, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, as they can be separated by spatial barriers, but still have the same time. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're separate space time. It doesn't mean that they're separate space and time. It's similar to like fucking in JJK where like they have a subspace, but that space is isolated from the outside world, but it still has the same time. It's not a separate space time dimension as one would say a um a universe or a universal construct is, a universal plus construct.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, since it's not its own space-time, you wouldn't be sensing over the space-time to sense into it. They would just be separated by spatial barriers. Did I get that right?
Spatial barrier, yeah, practically.
Okay. So essentially, Glamour World works fundamentally different from the real world, to where the impossible is possible in Glamour World,
Yeah.
and some holy shit, I can't speak. Uh a curse that is universally present throughout all of space. They have to when they go to Glamour World, they are able to escape that.
Yeah, I know which curse you're talking about. You're talking about
Yeah,
Noel's
Osir's curse.
mother's curse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with that curse. Well, that argument.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with that argument. It doesn't matter if the separate space operates differently from the main uh spatial universe. That doesn't prove that it's a separate space time. All it just proves is that it's a separate space.
yeah,
It's the same. It's the same as fucking again like JJK, like their domains. They're separate spaces, but there's they're they're not separate space times.
yes.
Although the spaces operate differently, blah de blah. It doesn't matter. You would need to
Is that all?
prove that it's a separate. Actually, yeah, that's more than enough.
All right.
You wanna? Do you have any contentions, or is there other arguments that you can present?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, because at face value, outside best, glamour worlds like high universal, if it is indeed infinite in size. Separate space, infinite in size, high universal, infinite 3D. But unfortunately, there's nothing that suggests that it's a 4D construct. Well, a separate 4D construct. So, are you there? Hello? Oh, he's muted. I think I'm gonna have a cig.
Yo, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm
Ah,
back.
you
Sorry.
back. Ah, no problem. Is everything good?
Yeah, yeah, everything's good. Can you just like state your last point again? Sorry.
Um, my last point. Fuck. I think it was me just saying that at best, the evidence you've presented so far just really shows a infinite size uh universe, as in just a 3D universe, since there is no evidence that you've presented thus far to prove that it's indeed a separate space-time continuum. All you've proved is that they're separated spatially, but not temporally as well.
Uh, okay. Here, let me send it again real quick.
So I'm gonna hop back into bed.
Okay, so this statement takes place after the Black Bulls get out of Glamour World, and it says, "Let's turn back the time a bit," which implies that Glamour World has different temporal axes.
Have you sent the scan?
Yeah, I have. It's in general skins.
Send no more. Let me see.
Oh,
uh, so what are you saying? with this again?
This is after they get out of Glamour World and they have to turn back the time a bit to portray
Okay,
the events
okay, so
that happened
you
at the
do.
same time. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So you do know this is the narrator speaking, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. So all it's saying, right, is that we're going back in time to see the events that took place whilst Vanessa and the others were in Glamour World. Because we don't see that when Glamour World is happening. This is a common thing um, in manga where the author goes back in time a bit just to show what events takes place whilst something that's happening in another area um, happens. This does not mean that there's a time dilation or anything like that within Glamour World.
Okay, sure. I can grant you that. Do you want me to move on to how Glamour World being infinite 3D can still mean the still entail multiplus?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, I low-key just forgot what I was about to say. Hold on, give me back 2 seconds.
No problem.
Is that a fucking brain fart? All right, so essentially, since Henry can sense finitely into Glamour World, which is an infinite space, he would have infinite sensory range, and Mark would obviously go above this. Yet he still perceived Glamour World as infinite or having no border. Infinite in comparison to infinite would also be multiplus. Ugh.
Wait, what? Wait, say that. Wait, break that whole thing down again. That lost me.
Okay, so he can sense a finite. So he can sense a finite distance into an infinite space. An infinite is a concept; it's not a number. So any finite number is still an infinite amount with infinity. So if he scales finite to, if his sensory scales finitely to infinity, then he would have infinite sensory range. And because of this fact, Glamour would be infinite in comparison to his infinite sensory range, which is still multiplus. You get what I'm saying
Okay,
now?
so yeah, I understand what you're saying, which I just disagree with. So you're saying that anything finite, like finite infinity, like is still infinity or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So, like similar saying like half of infinity is still infinity, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the problem with that is that with 10 meters, like a 10-meter radius within an infinite space, would that 10 meters now be considered infinite? Or would it still just be finite?
If it's directly stated to be 10 meters, then it would be 10 meters.
Yeah, but you see how the logic that you're trying to apply kind of fumbles. Because like just because finite of infinity, it doesn't necessarily mean that um that finite is still infinite. Because like I could say if you pop a planet in an infinite space, that planet is covering a portion of that infinite space, but it wouldn't make the planet infinite. It's still
Yeah, the
finite.
problem with that is you'd have to assert that there is a certain distance that Henry is sensing, which
Uh,
can't be the case. You
it,
have to
I'm
like you have to prove us. Hold on, let me finish. You have to prove a
yeah.
certain distance because otherwise it would just be more likely or more parsimonious that an in, a finite amount into infinity is infinity still. because 10
Yep.
meters would not be a finite amount of infinity. Sorry.
It would still be a finite amount of infinity because that number can still fit within that infinite space. You saying that he sensed it in a finite distance already contradicts it being infinite. It can't be finite and infinite at the
How
same
does it
time.
contradict it being infinite?
Okay, so you know what finite is, right?
I do.
Yeah, okay. So it has a limit, all right? It doesn't matter how far he can sense in this infinite space. If you've already said that it's finite, then it cannot be infinite, which infinite is the opposite of finite.
It's not finite is the problem. It's a finite amount into infinity, or a finite amount away from infinity. So it would still be
What,
infinity.
what, what,
It
what,
wouldn't be
what, what,
finite.
what do you mean by that?
What do I mean? Uh,
What do you mean by a
if
finite
you're a finite
away
amount
from it?
away from infinity, you are
Yeah,
still
so what,
infinite because you're
yeah,
infinite.
but
Because
like
infinity is
being,
a concept, not a number, and any finite number is still an infinite away from amount from infinity.
yeah, finite number,
Like you're
but
not
any finite
finite,
number.
you're a finite amount away from infinity.
Yeah, but what does that mean that he's finite amounts away from infinity? Like, I don't understand that that logic. You've said he senses a finite amount in Glamour World, therefore it's infinite because a finite infinite of of infinite space will still be infinite. But I contradicted that notion um, by saying, well, by giving you examples of finite things being within an infinite space and it still being finite, and finite can't be infinite because it's infinite is the opposite of finite, which is limited.
Yeah, I never said it was finite. I never said he sensed a finite distance.
You did, Judge? Were you listening? Judge?
If I did,
Is
I did
Judge
not mean to say that.
is the judge even here?
Yeah, he's typing.
Oh, he's one of those. Where's he typing in?
General chat.
General chat. Let's see. Uh, we are all are suppressed. None of us can unmute. Oh, he can't unmute. Alright, hang on. Let me see. Um, are you unmuted now? Can you unmute yourself now? Oh wait, you're not. Hang on. Yo, gang, you're not the judge. Uh, Luto. Oh my days. Hang on. I'll I'll just try this. Yo, can you try unmute yourself now?
Yeah, I can speak now. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I think I low key got lost a bit because this debate's been going really really slow. Yeah. So I might be lost. Just correct me if I'm wrong. What I do recall just saying was that he crossed or not crossed. Sorry, he sensed across a finite amount of infinity. I think so, right? Is that what you said, this?
That's
I
what
said finite amount away from infinity.
Away from infinity?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
I didn't hear that part.
He said he sensed a finite amount away from infinity.
Yeah, but then didn't he also like I asked for an example of what he meant by that, and he gave me he gave me like he agreed with like half of infinity is still infinity or some shit like that. But like him like
Okay.
so he did say finite. Wait, so he said finite away from infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably didn't hear that. I'll grant it to you that you said that. Um, just for now until I re-listen to the recording. But yeah, can you explain that logic again? Like you weren't really able to like explain what you mean by like a finite amount away from
I
infinity.
mean, I kind of already did, but I can explain again. Okay, so since he can sense a certain distance in infinite space, that would be a finite amount away from infinity. And you said it could just be like less like a certain number, like 10 meters, but that would be contradictory since anything that is that finitely scales to infinity is just infinite. So it couldn't be any finite number. So you applying that logic doesn't really like follow. You get it now, or do I need to explain further?
No, I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that yeah, but do you actually have any evidence for that?
Evidence for what specifically?
For him sensing a finite like distance to infinity.
Well, him being able to sense the room in Glamour World would be that. You can look at the scan again if you want.
No, not really. That wouldn't necessarily be him sensing like near infinite distance.
There's no
I
such thing as
mean,
near infinite. It's it is. I'm talking about a finite amount away from infinity. So can you provide logic for why that wouldn't be the case?
well, I'm still trying to like understand the like. Oh, he senses like he's able to sense something in an infinite space. Therefore, he can sense like his sensory abilities is infinite,
Yeah.
but not infinite at the same. Well, it's still infinite, just a smaller level of infinities. Is what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Because you're saying
Essentially.
it's finite to infinity.
Well, it wouldn't be technically in smaller infinity, but yes, for simplification's sake, yeah.
Okay, so okay, so what's after that?
What's after what?
So I'm just gonna steel man this right now. So what's after to like your argument for multi plus?
I don't really get what you're asking.
I'm saying it like you brought this up and then you sense not sensed. You said um like somebody else is able to like sense better than him or some shit, so it's multiversal plus or some shit. Like I'm talking about your
No.
whole argument. Like what's after Henry sensing this
Luck
finite
would
or
logically have
whatever.
better sensory range.
Who?
Luck, the one who senses the distance in Glamour World. Since this Glamour World says Glamour World is infinite, having no border.
Okay, so but why does that entail that it's infinitely greater than baseline infinity? Like we
Uh,
know the realm's infinite. Yeah, okay.
so you mean
But
like why infinite in comparison to infinite is multi plus? Because
yeah,
I kind of
because
already explained that earlier.
you said, yeah, that him being able to sense finite or like finite to
Yeah.
infinity isn't like the full thing pretty much or some shit like that. So I'm asking, why does Glamour World being infinite, well stated to be infinite from Magna, who was in Glamour World and is able to sense the whole thing, saying
Well,
that it
that was
has no
Luck that
borders.
stated that, and Magna was like, "No way,
Yeah,
that
no,
can't
no,
be the
no,
case."
not Magna. Sorry, I got the names mixed up. Luck, I
It's
mean.
fine.
Um, why does that therefore mean that it's infinitely greater than the other guy's infinity? Like, why is that a higher set of infinity?
Well, if he has infinite sensory range and he can sense an infinite distance, so he wouldn't be saying it has no border. But since he sees it as having no border, despite having infinite sensory range, since he can sense over infinity, it would have to be infinite in comparison to infinity, or what you just said.
Well, not necessarily. It can still just be infinite because if like, because all you're saying, right, is that X character can sense finites to infinity. Locke has better sensing capabilities than Henry. He
Yeah,
says that the realm has no borders, therefore it's on a higher level of infinity.
yeah.
So I'm still wondering, why is that the case? We already know it's an infinite space, but what does that logic imply that it's a higher set, like his sensing capability is on a higher set of infinity than Lux, not Lux, than Henry's finite to infinity sensing capabilities.
Well, like I said, he wouldn't be saying there was no border if he could sense over an infinite distance.
Well, an infinite distance already has no border, and he says it's
I'm aware,
endless.
but
It has no border.
he would see the
But
end of the infinity
he wouldn't
because he
see it.
has infinite sensory range.
Like he can't see that far. It's a sensing thing, like
What?
sensing
What?
magic.
Yeah, sensory
Like
range. And I never said he could
yeah,
like
yeah,
see it with his eyes.
yeah. Well, you said you can see it. I was like, no, you can't see it. But like he can sense that it has no border, right? Which implies that it is infinite, but that doesn't therefore mean that it's a higher level of, like, his sensory capabilities on a higher level than um fucking Henry, just because just because he states what endless pretty much is, having no border, no end. It's infinite.
Yes, but he would be able to sense the end of infinity because of fuck he has infinite sensory range. So if it's
Infinity has no
hold,
end.
I know infinity has no end, but due to higher infinities, this can be the case.
Well, you're presupposing that that is the case. You're not proving that this is the case.
We can just conclude. I feel like we're stuck on this point too much. Are you good with that?
Yeah, we can leave that up to judges' decision. Do you have any other points that you want to bring up, or is this the whole argument?
Well, I already presented my argument, so
Is this the whole argument?
yes, I
I
presented my whole argument at the beginning.
I say no more. Then you can let your judge judge.
I kind of need a recap of the end. I'm not gonna lie, but
You can just look at the recording. Just
I don't feel like going back in the rec. Can I just like get like a small summaries from both your sides, like conclusions?
On this
so
point
you can go
or
first.
on the whole
Yeah,
debate?
no, like no, just the ending point, the last point.
The last point.
Yep.
Uh, so from what I'm understanding is that his argument is that because Henry can sense this finite uh to infinity, well, finite distance of infinity, um, and not Magna, Luck has greater sensing capabilities than Henry, and Luck is saying that um, Glamour World has no borders; it's endless. Therefore, he's talking about a higher degree of infinity. My contention with that is why does that entail that Luck's sensory capability is infinitely above this finite to infinity level, which he wasn't able to prove and just went circular and just repeated his main argument. I then said that uh, he's just describing what infinity is, what endless is. It has no end, it has no borders, it's limitless. So he would have to prove that it's on a higher level of infinity, and that's pretty much it. All I can remember. I probably said some other things, but I just can't remember it right now.
Okay. So wait, let me just reiterate your point just to make sure I got it. You're saying that he said that Henry can sense like this finite amount of infinity, right? Which would have to be like an infinite sensory range than him, right? And then uh Luck having a better sensory than him is saying that Glamour World is infinite, right?
Yeah, that's his argument.
That's his argument. And then you're saying that there's no reason for it to be like a higher degree. Okay, I get it. I mean, to be honest, I don't really see how like this like substantiated the claim that it's a higher degree of infinity because like you said, both things can be true at the same time. Like Glamour World being borderless in respect to Luck's sensory capability, and Luck having better sensory than Henry, while Henry senses like some unquantifiable fraction of Glamour World's distance. There's no like necessity for a higher degree of infinity. Uh, so yeah, I guess Buddha guy got that.
Um, so
That's what I think.
yeah, he there was also the I guess you don't have to worry about the fucking what's it called? Um, Shadow Palace stuff because
Yeah, no, that was dropped really early on, so
yeah,
I wouldn't even consider that.
yeah, and he wasn't really able to prove that Glamour World was a space time, so he was pretty much um like baiting his multiversal plus argument for Glamour
Yeah,
World.
on the infinite of the infinite,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a higher degree of
like that.
infinity. Yeah, okay, yeah,
I
I get it. Don't worry.
But even that wouldn't
Um,
actually get him to multiversal plus though. Even if I granted it to him, I just disagreed with the logic.
cool.
I, I well, I'm gonna end the recording. Uh, if I remember how. How do I end this?
hmm.
Um,
I, I'm used to using power, so I don't know the commands for this.
yeah, I did it before, but I just can't remember.
Hmm.
Uh, do I have to go on to the DMs on it? Jump to
Not
recording
sure.
panel. Oh yeah, I got it.